Because I'm naturally very curious and I began researching stuff.
Oh, look who it is. It's old mate Candy Owens, back again to say a stupid whilst thinking that she has the capacity to actually learn anything true. And the fact is, if you were truly curious, you would go beyond ideas like Earth am flat or data am bad actually, and continue learning more until you discovered what ridiculously stupid ideas those are. Speaking of, what big brain smart boy move are you gonna make today?
One that you talked about, and you haven't gone into it too much in depth, but you don't believe dinosaurs are real.
Heed! Move! I'm sorry, I don't know what came over me. Anyway, of course she doesn't believe in dinosaurs. Why would she? It's not like we have literal freaking mountains of evidence for the damn things. It's not like you can find that evidence of their existence for yourself in multiple places around the world. Not to mention the endless study done by experts since forever ago. No, actually, it's all fake because of how you don't know how to fucking read, apparently.
So this is a funny one. So this is one of the ones where I'm like, gut. I'm not kidding. This conversation happened and it was so funny.
I mean, I would imagine it was very funny, but just not for the reasons that you think that it was. More that it was one or two people spouting endless, hilariously misinformed nonsense and then acting like they actually said anything of value. Because instead of, again, learning anything, they went with their gut. You know, guts. That thing that scientists use to invent all of the things. I mean, why know stuff when you can get a tummy ache? And that will tell you how to build a fucking microwave or whatever. That's how it works, right? I mean, you'll do anything when you're really hungry.
I was just walking with Savannah, my manager, because we do like these little evening walks. And
let me guess, you were having a chat. Look at this butthole pretending that they can actually maintain balance and use the mouth words at the same time. You know that just isn't true. I mean, have you ever actually seen her stood up? I know I haven't. She needs all that mental capacity to simply not fall out of a chair. I'll believe it when I see it, and only if I get to check for strings holding her up.
I just looked up to her and I was like, dinosaurs? That seems pretty fake and gay.
I am 100% sure that's the kind of shit that tumbles out of your gaping maw on a regular basis. And how exactly can something be both fake and fabulous at the same time? It's one or the other, although then again, God is fake, and he just loves those fucking rainbows, so...
She's like, Savannah's from Tennessee. She's like, I've never believed in dinosaurs. Like, literally, everyone thinks there's like some conspiracy behind it. I was like,
whoa, way to play into the stereotype. You know, not all Southern Americans are thick as shit, right? But you would have to go and hire one of the incredibly dumb ones. Damn. Also, I want to point out that some of you motherfuckers gave me shit when I've covered dinosaur deniers in the past. No one is that stupid. Are you fucking you? This is the internet. If there's something wrong to believe, there are entire fucking demographics who are ready and willing to believe it at the drop of a hat. And you know they drop hats constantly. I mean, it is a very challenging piece of clothing to use.
That was how it started. And I was like, what on earth? I'm like, it's funny because people will literally say they don't believe in God, but then tell them like dinosaurs aren't real and they fall apart. Like, I'm like, okay, so they're just roaming the planet.
They will tell you Imagination Man, who has literally no plausible evidence for his existence, doesn't real. But you say that a thing we know existed for like 100% certain with endless evidence for it, and they will call you a fucking moron, I imagine. That'd be my response. Yes, Candace, comparing things that exist to things that don't exist is going to have a strong reaction to people with actual fucking brains inside their heads. Good job on catching up with the rest of reality, dipshit.
And I was like, that's really interesting. But then...
you read an actual book, realized that it's all idiotic nonsense, and then you became a crusader for actual science and reason and started calling out morons for spreading dumbass lies about how the universe functions. Oh wait, no, that would basically turn you into me. I mean, sure, I've definitely believed some stupid shit in my life. Who hasn't? But even the dumbest things that I have ever believed were not half as ridiculous as any of this shit. She wishes she was as stupid as I am.
because I got into and very much subscribe and believe and know to be true that there is a Christ conspiracy that's happening right now.
Subscribe and believe and know to be true. Fucking hell, which is it? I mean, you don't need to believe things that you know are true. It's like how you don't have to believe in gravity. You just need to understand and accept the science on it. It's not really the same thing. And I really want to get that to become how people say this, because believing in various sciences is just playing the game using their words. They believe shit because otherwise it does nothing. We understand and accept the science that, actually fucking do things. It's almost like one set of ideas is a lot more useful than the other.
Which is the intentional removal of Christ because they want people not to believe in God, but instead to believe in humans.
Because humans don't exist. I mean, I fucking wish. What a strange thing to say. And yeah, I know she's attempting to be metaphorical, but even then, it's still really fucking silly. Humans literally do things. And also, when you believe in God, you're kind of still believing in humans. It's just a thing humans invented and made up stories about. It's all the same shit, no matter which way you slice it. And as we all know, there is no wrong way to slice a human as long as it's in half.
Well, that is what evolutionary theory was about.
No, it fucking wasn't. What are you talking about? All evolutionary theory does is explain the facts about reality as we observe them. It's exactly this sort of nonsensical gibberish that makes morons think they know better than scientists about the science they actually study, that it's some trick in order to say things the way they want them to be, when the literal opposite is true. And in fact, people like your good self are the ones who want reality to be the way they say and get generally really salty when it refuses to bend to their will, and yet will then go and say atheists think of themselves as God. Fuck me.
Because rather than making human beings believe that they had a creator, there was no concept of a dinosaur until 1850. That's very recent.
Yes, there was, you dumb asshole. Are you actually this fucking stupid? The things we call dinosaurs today, I mean, the earliest definitely recorded was like the mid-1600s, so that's a couple of years off. But there's no way that ancient cultures never found them as well. They just wouldn't have known what they were. But I would bet my left nut that that's the kind of thing that would have led those cultures to creating some of the various mythological creatures we see them having. And this is my best one. I mean, it's so shiny.
Right? That's the first time they were like, we actually think that there were these reptiles that are roaming the planet, and then within that same decade, they were like, dinosaur bones.
No, fuckhead. They found dinosaur bones and were like, what's this? It's not like anything else. And eventually they came up with a name for them. Again, it's the reverse of how you think it works, because it's what you lot do. But it's the conclusions that come after the evidence, not starting with them and then deciding everything proves you right for no goddamn reason.
And they started finding them everywhere. I'm like, okay, so nobody found this. And then really? Suddenly there's entire museums and...
No, again, they were 100% found before that. It's just that they were either disregarded, because most bones, well, it's just a fucking bone, so who cares, man? But when people make a cool discovery and they figure out what something is and where to start looking for it, yeah, they're going to find way more of them. That's how looking for things works.
In China, they have actually been caught manufacturing dinosaur bones many times over.
So, seriously, so fucking what? A, are they actually trying to pass them off as real? Or is it just shit people can buy? Because I'm sure loads of people would buy a T-Rex skull, real or not. I know I would. And B, if it is to trick the scientific community, who exactly do you think figured out it was fake? This is just like that creationist tactic of trying to disprove evolution because there have been hoaxes. Hoaxes mind that no fucking creationist had any hand in discovering, because they wouldn't know a real fossil from a fake fossil if it kicked them in the stupid. But don't worry, it won't hurt them. They'd need to have an actual brain for that.
And it is the case that dinosaur bones, for whatever reason, are always just found by the paleontologists. Like, it's not like you and me walking outside. I'm like, hey, a dinosaur bone.
Absolutely false. And frankly, the total opposite of reality as known by literally anyone who knows anything about that reality. Again, you can find them yourself. There are literally places famous for people being able to find them on a casual stroll. And if you mean, well, not those, but the ones they actually put in famous collections, because, okay, fair enough, that ammonite you found while crab fishing probably isn't going to go into any museums. But of course, if someone figures out that there's a bunch of high quality dinosaur fossils somewhere, they are going to call the professionals in dinosaur fossils. They aren't just going to call up Steve with his JCB to tear up the land in the hope that one of the sets maybe survives. That would be fucking stupid. So, you know, something you would probably do.
And, or by somebody who's related to a paleontologist. It's very strange.
By related, do you mean a family member? Or do you mean someone who knows how to contact a paleontologist? Because again, yeah, the people who know them are going to be the people who contact them. Everything you say is a goddamn faux profound revelation. But you think about it for 1 second and you realise it's fucking idiotic. It's amazing, really. She doesn't think about this for any seconds, apparently.
But anyways, I don't know for sure.
Anything? Yes, we're well aware that you are thicker than a truck full of honey and twice as bad for you to consume in a single sitting. But at least you can admit you don't know something. Get that down to knowing fuck all and maybe you'll be telling the actual truth.
But you think the incentive structure there is to move away from God?
Heed! Move! No! What is going on with me? I'm so sorry. I do apologize. I don't mean to make fun of your gargantuan head. Damn. Anyway, no, it's not to understand reality if that happens to make God sound like silly, made-up nonsense from the stupid ages. Well, so be it. But to be fair, that's only because that's exactly what it is.
Well, they want you to believe that God isn't real, that like the theory of evolution, like you're an ape. What happened was just over time, like you used to be a little chimpanzee, but then with time, this is why you learned about theory of evolution, Homo sapien, Australopithecus, but then we were Homo erectus, and now you're a human being.
That's a whole lot of words, but in an order that doesn't make a whole heap of sense. No one was a chimpanzee. The thing about chimpanzees is they're a different species. And while she did get the ape part right, although humans are great apes, even if I would beg to differ on anything being great about them, and Homo sapiens are what they are. They didn't evolve into those other things. It's like she's heard all the words, committed them to memory, but doesn't seem to think that the order they are in is, you know, particularly important.
Isn't that the definition of Satanism?
Yeah.
Like to believe that like Earth is the kingdom? Kind
Yes.
Look at the size of that boy's head. I'm so sorry. I'm not normally like this. I don't like to talk about how people look. It's not fair, but there's just something about this guy that compels me to shout at him like he's in front of a TV. And to be fair, I can only presume he did choose that hairstyle. And if you didn't know that the literal definition of Satanism is worshipping fucking Satan, you would think that there was something inside that huge dome of yours. It's like Sputnik, huge and pointy in places. That's a bit offside, isn't it?
He'll be crying himself to sleep tonight on his huge pillow.
And that is what these people were pushing. And so once you start to realize that Satanism is real, that these people who created everything that we view in Western society to be real.
But Satanism is real. It's just, you know, not what either of you seem to think it is. I mean, even the version that doesn't worship literal Satan has little to nothing to do with any kind of science, at least directly. I'm sure there's at least a few scientists who do it for the memes or for the activism, but that doesn't influence fucking reality.
Believed in Satan, right? They know God's real. And yet they're convincing everyone that God isn't.
Yeah, okay, so I would assume the Satanists who believe in the actual literal biblical Satan would probably believe in biblical God too. That kind of a given. But I seriously doubt they would be trying to convince anyone that God isn't real. They might say that he's full of shit or mischaracterized as the good guy or all sorts of other things, but if you believe things from the book, you are more than likely going to believe other things from the book. And what good would lying about both fucking do you? I mean, if Bible Satan is real and the bad guy, you're just fucked if you follow him, aren't you? Dumb shit.
And so when you speak to people that are super rational out of school, you're like, well, the evolutionary theory makes sense.
People who have an education believe facts about reality. What a terrible indictment of the education system. And look, to whatever dipshit chomping at the bit to talk about indoctrination in schools or whatever, I'm sure it happens, especially in religious schools, but saying that people went to school, come out knowing actual facts is hardly the burn she thinks it is. In fact, it makes her sound thoroughly uneducated.
So it makes sense to you that you started as a chimpanzee. Like,
No, it doesn't, because first off, you keep saying you started as a chimpanzee as if humans directly change. They aren't fucking Pokemon. I mean, if only I wouldn't be in so much trouble for stuffing people into tiny balls. And beaconed, humans were literally never chimpanzees. That's a nothing statement that makes you sound as ignorant as you actually are. Seriously, if you're going to say this asinine shit, at least get the actual species right, for fuck's sake.
that's a faith, buddy.
Yes, you have a faith that the things you say about science aren't complete and total bollocks. Unfortunately, your faith is proven wrong at every turn by even the smallest amount of research or evidence. Perhaps instead of having faith, you should get some kind of textbook.
It makes sense to you. And if you say to them, like, of course you went to the moon, then you start talking about basic science, but they don't actually know. They can't talk to you about Van Allen belt. They don't know anything.
Wow, just jumping into fucking moon conspiracies now, are we? I mean, of course you don't think that the moon landing is real. Why would you? I mean, facts care about your feelings, right? That's what your lot is always saying. It has to be, because that's how they fucking behave. If I feel like something is true or false, then that's facts. End of story. Also, I seriously doubt you know dick all about anything in space, let alone the Van Allen belt. And even if someone doesn't currently know everything about a certain topic, doesn't mean they can't, fucking check. And no, that doesn't mean going to allconspiraciesandreal.com. God damn it.
It's a faith. Like they have asserted, and what's interesting, even that, going to the moon, the Bible talks about a firmament and
yeah. And I'm fucking done. The firmament, a literal sheet of ice/water across the sky that we know isn't fucking there. The Bible is wrong about that because it was written by people who didn't know shit about how the world works. And the fact that you think they did is a damning indictment of your intellect. But because people who are far smarter than you say that it is fake, well, that must not be true. Everything you want to believe is true or false, as long as you don't actually have to know anything to understand it. Fuck me.
Wait, before you go, I have something super important to tell you. It's life or death. It will change everything forever. Nope, wait, it's gone. Oh well, probably wasn't important. But while I have you, don't forget to comment, subscribe and notify. And if you want more of my smexy voice, check out Mrs. Six's channel Spoonstaff Stories, where I narrate and voice all the videos, and she does the work. And if you want to support the channel, check out the merch store for cool t-shirts, or check out Patreon, memberships and PayPal to support directly. Finally, follow me on the medias of social to get completely pointless guff and to keep up on the latest releases. Oh, I just remembered what I was going to tell you. Whatever you do, don't touch the